Thank you, Ola, and hello, everyone. Thanks for the really warm welcome. Always happy to be back in Berlin, my favorite city on earth. And I'm actually still excited by everybody sitting in a pool without thinking about Robin as the key or the button that can just raise the water. And, no, never mind. We need to do it with AI later on. So my talk today is about the magic behind the resource API. I'm pretty much sure that everybody is familiar with the resource API, even though it's still experimental. But there are some hidden gems inside the resource API that I'm sure not everybody is aware of, and that's what the talk is going to be dedicated for. About me, I'm Eliran. I'm a founder of a consulting firm named eSquare, mainly focused on Angular. I'm a Google developer expert in Angular web technologies, and as Ola mentioned, I'm running two of the biggest Angular conferences, which one of them is Angular TLV, happening next week, by the way, and Angular Connect that just revived this year together with Pushbase, Michael Atki, that going to be here tomorrow as a speaker. I mentioned eSquare. We do consulting, training, staff augmentation, this kind of stuff. If you want to chat about that during the break, catch up with me. So don't be nervous. I have only four slides, something like that. 4 or 5 slides, and then we go directly to some demo time. But I will try to explain what's the secret behind the resource API with everything related to the Angular reactive journey, to expand the API itself, and of course, focus on the streaming resource, which is, if you ask me, that's the real magic. So signals are basically everywhere. We all love signals. We know that Angular is really pretty much focused on the reactive phase, making the framework more signal change detection driven, zoneless, that now is stable. And most of the API already transformed to signals. We have input-output queries, forms now becoming experimental, but will become stable. We already know that the core team working on a router-based signals, and HTTP with HTTP resource, which is already there. Now, in terms of the async reactivity, so we know that most of the APIs are synchronous, okay? If you're using signals, computed inputs, all of those are synchronous. But in real-life application, we most of the time need something which is more than just a synchronous task, right? We have asynchronous data that we need to deal with, and this is exactly why resource was introduced. So resource is an asynchronous dependency that is managed and delivered for signals. And it's, if I'm trying to simplify the concept of a signal, it's just an effect wrapped with an async task that we're getting a bit more of it, okay? We have a state management inside it with pending, value, and error, all of them coming with a signal type. Of course, we're getting a cancellation with a board signal that we will present in a second. And all of it integrated amazingly with the Angular reactivity system. So we have a pretty much basic API, which has a resource, interface of a resource with a value, status, error, is loading state, and is as value function. That's it. Thank you very much. No, I'm kidding. I honestly don't have any more slides. So I have 25 minutes. Yeah. All of it going to be dedicated to 3 live demos that we're going to see a basic demo of how to use the resource API. And we're going to build sort of stream-based resource, and then we're going to build something more interesting that we're seeing it more and more in many applications. And pretty much the best maybe use case for using resources. So let's start with the basic one, okay? So I have a basic application that I pre-made all the boring parts, okay? Now we just need to implement the stuff that's related to signals. So let's start with the basic one. Let's say that I have API that returns a list of users, and I already implemented also the HTML itself. Just let me know if I need to extend the font a little bit, or that's fine. People in the back. See? Amazing. Cool. So I can create users, which is going to be a resource, and I can create a loader here and just invoke a fetch request with my this users API, thanks AI, and return the response JSON. Now I can go straight away on my template and just present the user's value. And value, of course, is a signal. Let's import matlist item. And we see a list of users. Amazing, basic example. So resources are great to fetch APIs. That's amazing. But what if we want to fetch API depending on a sum of parameters? So let's extend the example and add a click listener, implement the select function, pass the user itself, which is the item here, of type user. We need to create a selected user. The type will be a signal of user or undefined, and let's initiate it to be undefined. Cool. So this selected user, of course, will be set to the item itself, and we're good to go. But now we want to fetch post that every time I'm changing the selected user will be fetched the post of the selected user. So I can create again posts that will be a resource, but this time we need something that's called params, because we want that every time the selected user changing, so I'm passing the selected user to the function. And here I can just implement this, thanks AI once again, and just extend it. Here, let's get the params. We can change the name instead of params, so it will be more declarative to selected user. And just inside the API, user ID equal, to the selected user ID. Let's go back to the template. And we can just show the post's value. Let's see the example. I'm clicking one user. I'm seeing the post relevant to that user. I'm clicking another user, getting post relevant to the other user. Okay? So this is a basic example of how to use resources with params and without params. Amazing, simple. I believe 90% of you already aware of that. Resource can not just get HTTP requests like that in a one time. They can also stream data constantly. And for that, let's play an example. We will create an example which is a game, okay, called, we called it in Israel something like 7 boom or 5 boom, where you're counting till the number, and instead of saying the number, let's say we're playing the 5 boom, so instead of saying the multiple of 5, we're saying boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. Okay, so let's implement the game together. So I'm implementing a function. I will increase the font. Export function timer resource that will get the interval of type number. And here I'm returning a resource ref of number, string. And because it's going to be a resource ref of resource stream item, it can be undefined. Let's immediately return a resource. And here, I'm using the stream property. Stream property have to get, and I think somebody get excited, huh? So stream property can get always an async function inside. And the pattern is always you creating a signal, which is the stream resource stream item. So let's call it stream item. It will be the type a signal of a resource stream item. This is type that Angular core, the Angular team created for us that have two options. It can either return a value or return value of the type. It's a generic type, or return the error itself. So I'm returning a resource stream item of here number number or string. And inside, I missed an import or something. Stream item, signal. Let's do it once again. Wait a second. Stream item, it's a signal of a resource stream item of number or string. And inside, value, let's start the value from 0. Okay? And immediately, I'm returning the stream item. Now, in between, I will implement the logic itself, but the pattern is always like that. You're creating a stream item, and you're returning in the end the stream item. In between, I want to create an interval. The timer will be the interval that we just got from the function itself. Let's initiate a counter from 0. We can increase the counter, of course, and check if counter modulo 5 is not 0. We can return, or sorry, not return, take the stream item and set the value to the counter value. And otherwise, we want to set the value to boom. Okay? Let's again, the boring part that already implemented, let's just import the timer, show it on the template, and go to the timer page. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, count with me. Boom. Okay? Amazing. What's the pitfall? There is a pitfall. The pitfall here, we can show it pretty much easily. Let's add a log statement here every time we're increasing the counter. Let's have a look. I will increase the console as well. Let's say that I'm navigating to another page. The resource is still alive. What will happen once I will navigate again to the timer? Another instance, right? And what we get? Memory leaks. This is how consultants get jobs. Amazing. So the way to deal with it is actually the stream resource stream item also can expose something that's called abort signal. Abort signal is where you want to handle your cleaning of your of the stream. Otherwise, it's not going to be cleaned alone. Okay. So let's save the ref of the interval itself. And before we're returning, we can take the abort signal, add event listener, name abort, and here implement a function that just clear the interval. Let's check once again. We see the timer ticks, navigating to another page. Good to go. Cool. But when I'm thinking about resource and streaming resources, I'm thinking about a use case which is pretty much became common these days that can be way more, I don't know, fit than just a simple timer with number and string. Somebody have an idea? What we can build with it? Check the header, the links. Chat. So, LLMs, okay? If you check most of the APIs of LLMs, and I have here running an Olama instance on my machine, they are streaming the response. If you see, it's not just it's not because of any reason that you see that those chats are streaming the responses and building the answer incrementally. If you check, for example, I'm sending here a question. The role is user content. What is the capital city of France? And if I will invoke it, you will see the response comes in an array of responses that every time I'm getting a different message. The message is the capital of France is Paris. Okay? So this is basically how LLM works. And if you ask me, that's maybe the best way to demonstrate streaming APIs with the resource API. So let's build something like that. Again, the boring part already got implemented by me. We just build the resource itself. So exporting a function, create a chat resource. It will get an array of messages because the context is important, which will be of type signal of message array. And again, I want to return a resource ref of message array or undefined. Returning a resource straight away. Inside the resource, now I need params because I need the context. I need the question itself, or maybe the context that I can still run more than one question. So I'm setting a params. The params will be, I'm checking first of all if I have messages. If I have messages, I will return the messages, and otherwise return undefined. Now again, stream, async function, create, again, the pattern is creating stream item. The type will be signal of resource stream item of message array. And I will initiate it to, I need to use the params. So I'm taking the params, let's call it messages, and just setting the value to the initial messages. Return, of course, the streamed item. In between, I want to invoke the fetch request. So I'm running the Olam API, which is a Olam API chat. And here, the method is post. Let's add headers, content type application JSON, body. Body will be a JSON stringify of the messages, and the model, I have a constant declaring the model up here, gemma3 1b, okay? I have the fetch request. I want to handle it now. So running then, async response. Inside the async response, let's first check that if I don't have body, always challenging typing while you stand. If I don't have a body, I want to return immediately. Otherwise, I want to create a text decoder and iterate over each message. So I'm for await const chunk of res body. Take the decoded message, const decoded chunk will be the text decoder decoded chunk. Now I can just parse it, parse chunk JSON parse of the decoded chunks. I'm losing the type, so I will cast it into a message of type message. Trust me, that's the type. And now I can just take the message from the parse chunk, okay? Let's log the message and see what we have. So again, boring parts, let's enable them. 1, 2, 3. We're good to go. Let's open the console and invoke what's the capital city of France. Cool. So I see that the role assistant, that means that that's not a question, that's part of the answer. The capital city of France is Paris, while other cities like Lyon, Marseille, and Toulouse are in. You got the point. Now let's build it incrementally as part of the stream item. So I'm back into my chat resource, and I'm building the stream item. stream item is a signal. I can either set it or update it depending on the previous one. So I'm taking the previous value, checking if I have something that called value in prev. If not, I want to return an error. So I'm returning an error state with new error, let's say no value. And otherwise, I want to build the response incrementally. How I'm going to do it? So I'm getting the last message, which will be the length value, pre-value length -1. I want to check the last message. What I want to check? I'm checking first if the last message role is the user, means that this is a question. If it's a question, I just want to return to the stream item, return a value, which the value is the pre-value plus the message itself. But otherwise, if it's part of the response, I want to build the response incrementally in that way. So I'm returning a value, and the value will return the prev value. I'm going to cut the last message, so I'm slicing slice 01, and I will add a new message in that way. So I will take the last message, but override the content with the last message content and the current message content. Hope you bear with me. Let's have a look. What's the capital city of France? The capital city of France is Paris. By the way, it was super fast, so we can adjust it a little bit. Await a new promise. It's a timeout, let's say, of 100 milliseconds between each message. So the capital city of France is Paris, while Lyon, blah, 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 blah. And tell me more about it. I'm sending the next message, and it's as the context. Cool, isn't it? Cool. So basically, that's it. I'm sure that all of you are super excited about moving into the signal phase of Angular. Yeah, now it's running and distracting you. That everybody is super excited about the moving into the signal phase with Angular, and I'm sure that that resource is the missing part that help us achieving asynchronous stuff with signals. But always remember that this hidden gem that's called streaming resource that can help you create even more powerful stuff. I hope you enjoyed. Keep in touch with me, and see you in the break. Thank you very much.